So we will transition over there, Infrared. Are you ready to take it away?
I'm all set.
All right,
Let-
fantastic.
Let's get gaming. Good morning, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. How are you all doing today? My name is Infrared, and welcome to Portal 2. Now, you should already know what Portal and Portal 2 are if you possess a functioning set of eyeballs, but quickly going to explain, you have two portals, orange and blue, you go in one, you come out the other. For the next hour and change, I'm going to use that technique a ton, as well as a load of other glitches. It's going to be fun. Now, let's get to the game. Start at new game. But the time isn't actually going to start when I press enter. There's a small animation of me like standing up out of a bed, and then the game will start. So I'll load in and then give a countdown. Then I can explain what's going on. Loading in, then a countdown. There we go.
Good morning. You have been in suspension
So,
for
3,
days. In
2,
compliance with state and federal
1,
regulations, all
bazinga.
tested candidates
Let's
in
get
the
gaming.
Amateur Science Extended Relaxation
It's a bit early, but
must
sure.
be revived
There we
periodically
go.
for a mandatory
This
physical
is
and mental
Container
wellness
Ride.
exercise.
We are currently riding inside of a
You will hear
container.
buzzer.
Because
When
we
you
are.
hear the buzzer,
Because Valve is good
look up
naming
at the
stuff.
ceiling.
This is essentially the tutorial section of the
You will hear
game.
a buzzer.
I'm going to
When you
look
hear the
up,
buzzer,
look down, and
look
then
at the
walk
floor.
from side to side. This is actually skippable if you look. Actually skippable if you usually play the game with a Container Ride save.
There's a framed
That's
painting on
saving
the wall.
around.
Please go stand in front of it.
Hello, there's a painting. I have custom textures. I'll get to that later.
When you hear the
Uh,
buzzer, stare at the
we can use a Container Ride save to skip 4.5 minutes of essentially just a cutscene.
You should now feel mentally
Yeah,
reinvigorated.
but so
If you suspect you
actually,
are
because
involved
it's a marathon, I'm going to play this and also explain what I'm currently doing. A lot of this game is movement based, as all Source games are. There's a quick audio cue you need to listen to.
Please return to your bed.
There we go. This is a movement based game, as all Source games are. So the main movement technique you're going to see
Good
me
morning.
do is bunny
You have
hopping.
been in suspension for-
I'm going to move my mouse left and look to the left, move my mouse right and look to the right. Okay, there's Wheatley. So I'm going to hold A, look left, hold D, look right. Essentially, that is the entire game. As well as that, I'm going to be jumping, what I'm doing right now. I have it bound to the scroll wheel, specifically scroll wheel down, so that I can essentially get frame perfect jumps every single time. So, just as a quick reference, you don't need to understand what these numbers actually mean, you just need to know the scale between the two. If I just hold forward and walk in a dead straight line, that is a speed of 175. Hello, Xenon, I forgot to turn those off. That is a speed of 175. Then if I... Yeah, there's a small cutscene here I need to actually pay attention to, unfortunately. I'll get to that later.
And it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage.
Hey look, he
But
said
don't
the
be
thing.
alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling. Because
Yeah, we have
that is the
we have like
proper
3 minutes of
reaction to being
nothing.
told
This is
that you're
usually what we'd skip.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me. Just say yes.
3 minutes of nothing, you say?
What you're doing there is
Yeah, more or less. We have some
you just
donations
use
if you really want to.
But never mind. Say apple.
We do. I will quickly refresh my... There we go. We have $5 from Tenorak. Tenor, thank you so much for the $5 donation. There's no comment on that, but thank you kindly. Go into a lovely cause.
Okay, look, I wasn't going to mention this to you, but I'm in
Well,
pretty
right,
hot water here.
so at this point we have 3 minutes of nothing, so I can explain the movement in the game.
The reserve
As I just said before I got so rudely interrupted by that thing over there, if I just hold forward and don't do anything, that is a speed of 175. Speeds, it doesn't matter what the number actually means. Then if I hold forward and then quickly mash A and D repeatedly, that will get me to around 220 speed. Again, not important what that actually means. But if I use the bunny hopping technique, combining jumping and that movement technique with a mouse, I can easily get to 300, which is nearly and sometimes more than double of my walking speed. Although an interesting thing with that is, with that air strafing, move a mouse to the side and hold the direction key, I do not hold W, because the speed cap is bound to if I'm actually pressing W. So if I'm holding W and then doing that mouse movement, I'm going to careen off into a random direction, because I'm not used to this movement, And also, I'm going to be a lot slower than I would normally be. We still have about a minute of basically nothing, so instead of us being bored, I can play Tetris. Yeah, don't ask. This is Tetris in Portal 2.
Alright then.
Man, this game is weird.
I had no idea you could do this.
Yes, and the reason we can do this is because of the lovely speedrun plugin made for this game by like a million different people.
Alright.
Hang on. There we go. Made by like a million different people. It's called SAR. It stands for Source Auto Record, and actually something I forgot to do. It's recording demos. It was the main thing this game could do. And I might talk about that later. I'm stuck in a bed. There we go. Now, after that big 5-minute cutscene, we have another cutscene of around 40 seconds. Now, during this cutscene, it is vitally important to take this clipboard, yeah, and throw it into this toilet. If you get this clipboard in the toilet, that is an automatic new personal best. We have 40 seconds of nothing. You might as well. Oh,
This might be a good chance for me to explain something I haven't said yet. Have I got enough, like 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, cool.
So, I didn't say this yet, sorry about that. So all revenue from all Twitch subscriptions and cheered bits during this whole Fastest First Spring Spectacular will be donated to the charity as well. So it's not just donations, guys, it's bits and it's subs as well. All of that revenue, it goes straight to all.
Lovely. Lovely stuff. Now, one thing you may have seen me do is actually wait in front of the door for just a second. That may seem weird because stopping is not fast and we need to go zoom. But that is actually because of a dialogue queue I'm going to be waiting for in every single map in the game, more or less. The game has very good dialogue and the game wants us to hear all the dialogue. So, I'm going to wait for something here. Hang on. Gonna wait for an audio cue. There we go. How the ending fades work is first the dialogue finishes, and then the level can fade, like that. But during this entire lift shaft, it's not a continuous check. There are multiple large triggers that check for the dialogue. So you want to hit one of those triggers as soon as possible after ending the dialogue. So that's why I'm going to wait at the end of every single map for just a couple seconds to actually be faster. Because people have tested it, and it saves roughly a minute to a minute and a half of literally nothing if you just stand there waiting, over going in immediately. I may get this at some maps in the game, but if I go in, that's called an awkward elevator. Because it's completely silent and it's quite awkward because we're good at naming stuff. More dialogue. There we go. Cool. That's going to do throughout the entire game. Now into a map called Smooth Jazz. This is kind of the first speedrunning map of the game, because the previous maps were mainly just movement based. Gonna bunny hop and fire a portal on the floor to open that door, and then I'm going to do a trick called cube through glass, or a cube clip. That. Because of how the game works with moving objects around portals, there is a big cube around a portal where physics is simplified. And because of reasons, we can clip objects through very thin walls. So through that door. You can actually do the same in Portal 1, so that's actually an Easter egg referring to the previous game. Now I'm going to do a trick called Portal Stand, where I stand in a portal. And that thing. That is actually similar to the cube clip. More dialogue. There we go. A portal stand is, as the name suggests, we're good at naming stuff. You fire a portal and hold S, and then you can just go through. It's a lot easier than it may seem. And it seems quite easy as well. Gonna do another one right here to get to the end of to get to the second half of this map. Well, never mind. There we go. And that trick we did twice in a row. This one is a bit easier in my opinion. You can fire a portal and very, very quickly fire the same portal on the wall. That is again due to the simplified physics. The cube technically stays in the portal for just a couple of frames. And what I did there is a button stick, because we stick a button. We are good at naming stuff. That is a really weird trick. There you go. That's a really weird trick. If you activate a button for one frame, and then the very next frame you deactivate the button stays on because Valve is good at making video games. Yeah. And now we have a trick where we shoot through a door. So what do you think this map? So what do you think this is called? You're wrong. It's called Pancake Shot. Because we're good at naming stuff.
Very good at naming stuff.
Yeah, don't ask. I don't even know when I run the game. We're going to stand at a very specific coordinates and look at a very specific coordinates. And do that. Yep. And that saves around a minute. That's Wheatley skip, because it skips a Wheatley skip, because we're good at naming stuff. One thing you may be able to see, may not be able to due to Twitch compression, but in the top left of my screen, you can see some numbers. Those are my position and angle, and also velocity of how fast I'm moving. Hey, Wheatley, teleported out of thin air. Don't ask. So I'm gonna use those quite a lot throughout the run, just to make stuff a lot easier, if not actually possible, like that incredibly precise shot. Now is the ending of Chapter 1. This game has 9 chapters in total. This is entirely movement-based, so the better you are at bunny hopping, the better you are at this one part of the game. There we go. And after this, we have another cutscene of around 2 minutes. There we go. I'm actually wall busting, or wall strafing right now, which is quite useful in Catbox. If I'm looking slightly towards the wall, and I'm holding W and A, if I hold A, then I need to look to the left. Then I can actually gain speed. I can gain roughly 250 units of speed. You don't need to know exactly what that is. It's actually fairly fast and fairly useful. So Wheatley is going to babble on for what feels like 29 years, and then we're actually going to, well, go in a cutscene of around 2 minutes. Never mind. So, Tetris.
Well, while you're whiling away the time on Tetris, we do have a donation I can read out.
Of course. I have nothing else to do.
Alright, well, we have $10 from Flux. The comment says, first time watching, and great to see Furs coming together for a fantastic cause. Good luck with the runs. Less than 3.
Ah, less than 3 to you too. Oh, actually, one thing I forgot to show off right now, just ignore that giant robot. We have the best character in the game. It's Hoopy! Look at it! It's Hoopy! That's the Hoop! That's the Hoop from Portal 1. Look at Hoopy! Ignore that giant robot. That's Hoopy. Look at that Hoop. It's such a good Hoop. Ignore that giant robot. I'm gonna look at a wall and play Tetris.
So when did you start running Portal 2?
Started running, I think, in around 2017, 2018-ish. But I actually started... That was just casual, but I uploaded my first speedrun to speedrun.com in 2019, I believe. Oops, that's a bit of a lag. There we go. This is not a good board, unfortunately. But I'm playing Portal and not playing Tetris. So, yeah, this is fine.
But I think we can put our differences behind us. For science.
You also have another little donation if we have time.
Yeah, of course. We have about a minute.
We have $5 from a dragon person. Here to support your cuties and oh my god, and appreciate this cutie sky, D. You know what, I'm gonna mentally replace that with fierce sky, because I'm super fierce. Thank you very much for the donation, dragon person. Thank you. Let me have my coping mechanisms, just let me have them.
I'm fine, of course, I'll let you do your thing. You're a commentary. And we have this cutscene of around 20 seconds, and then finally we have more gameplay. Lovely. The first thing you're going to see me do is jump across this small chasm over the, I don't know, orange soda or whatever, saving just a couple seconds. And then I'm going to avoid a trigger to avoid a line of dialogue, which is slow. So I can get that portal gun immediately instead of having to wait for some dialogue. And then just getting some movement to the end, waiting for a dialogue queue. There we go. This is one of the maps you can get awkward elevator in if you go too fast, actually. This one. If you go too fast, then what GLaDOS is saying right now will not play, and you need to go all the way down to the end of the lift, which loses around 20 seconds. So you wait 3 and gain 20. Pretty good.
Not a bad exchange.
Not bad. There we go. That one is actually pretty lenient. Into the first map of Chapter 2. Now we have both portals, and I can do a body hopping and a fling to preserve my momentum, and I did not do that. Ignore that. There we go. I can not shoot this panel. That's because it needs to move, and then I can go there. So if I did do that first try, that would have saved around 7 seconds, because portals cannot be placed on moving surfaces. I wanted to show that off, but unfortunately it went a bit too far to the right. That's just a skill issue on my part. That map I just failed is called Laser Intro because it's an introduction to lasers. But because I actually didn't use lasers, I'm not going to use lasers here. I'm just going to do that, and then plonk straight to the end. Lovely. More dialogue.
Well, that's a good chance to ask you, what does SLA actually stand for?
That is Save Load Abuse. It is essentially... you can quick save, quick load on the exact same frame to cause the game to bug out because Valve is good at making games. For example, the button stick I did a few chambers ago, you could do that with SLA on literally any button in the game. Never mind. But because it's not used in this game, I'm not going to talk about it. One thing I'm going to talk about, there we go, is laser switch glitch. That was the glitch involving switching between lasers because we're good at naming stuff. Similar to something I did previously, if one laser is activated and then you shoot a portal to activate both of them for one frame, the game thinks both of them are activated and opens the door if you're pressing up against it. There we go. Oops. I tried to bunny hop just before that because there's a thing that goes away there, but I went a bit too early. Now, you can do some tricks here to get to the end of this quicker, but skill issue on my part, and beans. I have custom textures, did I mention that? So I'm just going to take the intended route for just a second. I can save just a couple of seconds.
Just the beans really caught me off guard. That's
Beans.
why not, right?
Yeah, I like custom textures. I have a few more. Also, hey, that's me. This is a map called Catapult Intro, and I'm going to try to do a trick called Swag Camera, which I'm pretty much the only person to do. Yeah, Catapult Intro, because an introduction to catapults. Valve is good at naming stuff. Boop, boop. Nope, didn't get it. It's possible to place one of these cameras on that button, and... No! Ah, I did not get that. Unfortunate. There we go. GLaDOS should now be talking, because you can hear GLaDOS talk right now. There we go. I was supposed to activate that like 10 seconds ago. Really unfortunate that I'm now losing time. There we go. Because if you do that, you can put a camera on the button to activate the dialogue, because Valve is good at making games. So if you do that immediately, you can go to this lift immediately, saving around 10 seconds over doing it normally. Over what I'm doing right now. Yeah, now plus 14 on my splits to the left. Unfortunate, but it's a marathon, so I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Another Faith Plate map, or Catapult map, whichever you prefer. Place a portal right there, and I'm going to skip that Faith Plate right there by air strafing in mid-air. Because, well, that's how air strafing works. Ignore that. That was just to show you what happens if I don't get it. Yes, I'm just that good. There we go. Boom. Fire a portal just to make stuff a bit easier. You now have a load of garbage there, or like a load of rubbish if you want to speak properly. That is going to activate that button and open this door. what you're supposed to do is hit that button again and have a cube land on the button. But because Valve is good at making games, we can just do this. One thing about elevator dialogues or lift dialogues is this lift is hard-coded to move faster than every other lift in the game. Valve is good at making games. So we can go in there immediately and go to the very end of the lift shaft. Instead of having to wait for dialogue.
I'm sorry. I don't know how
that
that went on.
and-
Anyway, just an interesting science.
Oopsie.
An interesting science fact.
There we go. What I did was a super reportal, which is chaining together multiple reportals. And another button stick, quickly. What a reportal is similar... Actually, the reason why we can do the buttons...
Just an interesting science fact.
Hang on. Why am I not getting it?
Interesting science fact.
There we go. What a reportal is what a Valve actually did to avoid us doing a portal stand. Because if we stand inside of a portal, we get shoved out. I fired the wrong portal there. I get shoved out at 200 speeds, whatever that means. But I can place a portal at a very specific angle on the ground, and then get stuck in the ground for just a couple of seconds. The game realizes that I'm stuck and goes through multiple checks, and so I only have about 5 seconds to actually place a load of portals. So because I'm in a portal and shooting a portal, I gained 200 speed. But because I'm stuck in the floor, I can keep gaining that 200 speed multiple times to just get yoked in the air. I'm going to use that a couple times throughout the run. There we go. Oh, that's a pretty simple trick. Using some panels on the wall to just get to that section a bit quicker. Or actually get to that section that's not the intended solution. Obviously, because the intended is slow. What you're seeing on your screen is the developer console. I'm using this for a trick called double dialogue skip, because we skip 2 lines of dialogue. We're good at naming stuff. 1, 2... I am on fire. I got both of them. You saw those big red error messages. That means I got both dialogue skips in one go. Which means those panels can go down, and this thing can go down first try. Doing that first try saves, I think, about 45 seconds over having to wait for all 3 dialogues. First half we do a glitch, second half is just shmoney. There we go, with some pretty basic movements.
Look at you, sailing through the air majestically,
Boop.
like an eagle,
There we go.
piloting a blimp.
Sometimes that orange portal can be a bit weird, so if you just mash fire, you will eventually get it. Because you're mashed up against the door, it will just open. Because Valve is good at making games. Now, speaking of, in my splits I have to my side, this map is called This Map Sucks, because this map sucks. I'm going to do a trick called a cube bounce, because I bounce off of a cube. Yes. It is a lot more difficult than you may imagine. There we go. Have to fire some portals in midair, place a cube in midair, and do all of that. Got a first try, pretty impressed by myself. That is an absolute miracle of map design, that we can deactivate a laser, deactivate a panel, and the time between us doing that is just enough so that the panel can move back up into place and just yeet us to the end. It's really weird that it actually works.
These bridges are made from natural
There we go, we have
rock that
Bridge
I pumped
Intro,
from
which is
the
an introduction
surface.
to bridges, as you may have guessed if you have more than 3 brain cells. Then, this is actually cycle-based. There we go, that's a pretty good cycle. Because that cube dropper... well, drops a cube, as you probably guess. So that was the cycle I would usually get. It's Chumby. Hello. That turret is called Chumby. Yeah, I don't know, because we're good at naming stuff.
Do you know who else murders
I have to
people
wait for
who
some
are
dialogue
only
here.
trying to help them? Did you guess sharks? Because that's wrong.
There we go.
The correct answer is nobody.
Those light bridges are just bridges we can make in midair. They're not actually that useful throughout this game. They're only getting used in this part of the game and then not for the rest.
I figured out what to do
They are
with
a
all
pretty
my
fun
mess
mechanic,
recycling
if you
your
play this
one
casually.
room full of air. When
Now,
you die,
usually
I'm
if
going
I
to
was
laminate
good at the
your
game, I would do a
skeleton
trick
love.
called door
That
skip.
way
Can you
future
guess why it's called
generations
that?
can learn from you how
But
not to have
one
your
of but
unfortunate
because of
dreams
skill
frustrated.
issue, oh my god, I can do that.
Doors malfunctioning. I
Not expecting to get that. That one's called Lucky Door. It is completely RNG whether or not the door actually opens. Getting it first try, I was not expecting that. Well, either doing door skip or getting Lucky Door first try saves 40 seconds. So I'm going to be green coming out of this map. Wow, that was unexpected. Yeah, first half you would do door skip, but skill issue on my part. I hope for a complete RNG trick. I got it because I'm gaming. And then second half is relatively straightforward. Just portal placement, get a bunny hop straight to the end. And this is awkward elevator. You see how long I was riding that lift for.
This next test involves
Because Wheatley was actually talking.
Them right. They're the pale spherical things
And here are turrets, some pale spherical things full of bullets. I have this entire game memorized. Boom, boom. This is a pretty short map and pretty fun to get started in speedrunning because it is very heavily movement based, but actually not that long. There we go. And no, Cube. How he stand? There we go. Cube fell off that button. Unfortunate. Fairly short and fairly nice. Boom, boom. Going into laser relays, where we have to relay a laser between multiple different catches. This is a fairly short map, and also heavily story-based, if you're actually listening to GLaDOS, which I'm not. So while we're just waiting, I can fire these two portals with a lineup on the wall, and then get this cube, place it there, and we're done. This dialogue is actually so long that you can take your time placing that laser cube. Hang on. There we go. That's when I entered the lift. You have a lot of time for this one. So it's basically impossible to lose time in that one map. Oh, a very fun trick now. We have a damage burst, the only one in the game. Going to place one portal over there, one portal here, jump, and giddy out. There we go. And again, using the bunny hopping to get frame-perfect hops on the ground to keep our speed. Hopefully don't die. Thank you. Can I press E? A very minor thing that you only notice when playing the game. If you mash E... There we go. If you mash E, there is a very slight delay between picking up a cube and putting it down. So that can happen, you need to be a bit wary of that. It's annoying, honestly. Laser versus turret right now, and it's exactly that. It's lasers, and we're going to explode some turrets. This section of the game is pretty much the same as intended, at least for the full game category. This is called Inbounds No SLA because we're not allowed to go out of bounds. But if you look at the individual levels for all of this, then this one specifically, as well as a couple others, do go out of bounds. There's actually an inbuilt individual level counter in the game. There we go. Actually, an inbuilt individual level timer in the game called Challenge Mode. I would highly recommend looking up runs for any map you see here, because a lot of them are fairly similar, but actually most of them have a specific route just for CM, because they're shorter, obviously, so you can just YOLO really hard. There we go. That, specifically in CM, that, instead of manually placing the cube on the bridge, you would just flip and throw the cube in midair. It's incredible to watch. Boop. That was Chapter 3, and in my opinion, the most reset-heavy part of the game, specifically due to the early part of Chapter 3. Going into Chapter 4, yeah, we have custom chapter titles. Yeah, I like that joke. Anyway, this map is called Column Blocker, because, well, we block turrets with a column. This we're supposed to, normally. But that's actually slow, because this map is really, really big, weirdly. Fire one there, and we're supposed to use that thing to block these two cubes, but we can just press E in midair and do that. There we go. For this trick, and a couple of others, I have used bound to scroll wheel up, so I can mash like 10 times a second. I did not get that. skill issue. Take it a bit slower. Now we have genuinely a complete RNG trick. It's called Jerry Skip. Because normally there would be a cutscene right about here where Wheatley would talk to a different character called Jerry. We are going to skip Jerry because we're good at naming stuff. Because nope, did not get that. My lineup is now correct, and now we just have to do the thing. Yeah, this can take a while because it's physics based, and Valve is good at making games, so it's nowhere near consistent. Actually, is my lineup correct? Yes, about that. Yeah, this could just take a while to clip through the elevator. I might just take the L if it's taking too long. There we go, finally. Yeah, seriously, it can just take that long. You can get it anywhere from first try to now plus 30 seconds. If I look at my splits. There is a big list of things the game does when the player is stuck, and very last on that list is lose collision. So you need to pass like 12, I think it is 11 or 12 different checks before the game just says and does that. Unfortunately, it took that long, because I believe my PB got it like second or third try. Now, this was a map called laser chaining because we chained some lasers. We're supposed to chain 3, but we can just chain 2 of them and quickly airstrafe to the end, placing a portal and then flicking 180.
Oh, wow.
Actually, a very satisfying flick once you can get it down. It's not actually that difficult. Here we're going to do another laser switch glitch, but this time with 3 lasers. Because this map is called Triple Lasers, and I did not press the thing.
That's right. The facility
Neum.
is completely operational again.
Hopefully I can get this. There we go. So we just kind of wiggle.
I think these test
There we go. We just
chambers
wiggle
look
and then
better
that's
than
the
they
puzzle
did
solved.
before. It was easy, really. You just have to look at things objectively. See what you don't
Yeah.
need.
We need to do that wiggle twice. Once to open the door and once to activate this dialogue. Because if you do not activate the dialogue, I believe it's around 12 seconds of an awkward elevator you get. We're going to quickly ignore GLaDOS and not actually solve the test. I got a Discord message. Yeah. So we're not actually going to solve the test, we are going to escape. And with this, I would like to show, well, dialogue skip quickly. I would like to show this button. It turns the light on. Now this was just a quality of life feature implemented, I believe, in 2019. This depends on what monitor you are using. So on stream, it may look perfectly fine to play like this, but I can barely see anything because it's really bright where I am right now. So just for my own eyes, I turn the lights. This doesn't change the game, and I have it bound to a single key. So that's, you're going to see from this part of the game onwards, not that much, honestly. Some people play the entire game with that thing on. It's entirely personal preference. Boom. And end of chapter 4 and beginning of well, actually the entirety of chapter 5 is heavily movement based, using the bunny hopping. So if you're good at bunny hopping, you're going to be good at this like 8-minute section of the game. We have very heavy and very difficult bunny hopping, and then we have a section which the community calls Cutscene City. It is 6 minutes of pretty much nothing. We have a cutscene, a very long map which is basically a cutscene, and then another cutscene. So yeah, that's at the end of chapter 5, once I complete these 3 maps. Nothing too special apart from just movement. So if you have some donations, then we can read those out.
I will quickly do another refresh. All right, we don't have any donations in the list, but I have seen people giving subs and bits while we've been streaming, so thank you so much for those, guys. Remember, your subscriptions to this channel and your bit donations, they all go towards, or as well, the Organization for Autism Research. It all goes towards the same cause. So you don't have to like just donate, you can also subscribe and give bits as well. While I'm at it, I may as well plug the Fastest Furs Discord as well. Team Fastest Furs are a group of furry speedrunners dedicated to building a strong community that is welcoming and open to all. We currently host 2 online charity speedrun marathons per year in the spring and the fall, or autumn if you're British like me. The community events throughout the year, sorry. For more information, you can join us on our Discord by using the command !Discord in chat.
It's almost like you've done this before.
Almost. Almost.
Almost. Once again, I'm going to say this is a heavily movement-based part of the game, so this gameplay you're seeing is average at best. Again, I would highly recommend looking up the challenge mode or CM runs of this, because the world record for this map is under a minute, and I'm going to do it in about a minute 20. Seriously, people are that good. Yep, getting a 127 on this. World record is 57.
Whoa.
57 something. Seriously, people are that good. That was called Turret Factory because it is a factory where the turrets are made. Now we're going to turret sabotage because we are going to sabotage the turrets. Valve is good at naming stuff. And hey, this is the turret. Yeah, that's the different turret. Once again, using rail boosting, wall strafing. It has like 17 different names. Can I place a portal? Thank you. It has like 17 different names for some reason, but whatever. But if I'm just going a dead straight line, I should mention this. If I'm going at a dead straight line, I can really just go however fast I want. However, if I'm playing the game normally, not, literally on a rail, then I have a speed cap of 300 speeds. Doesn't matter what that number actually means. Once I hit that cap, I can no longer change my direction while in midair. So I'm just careening in a straight line. I'm going to do another pancake shot here, where I'm shooting through a door. This one is a lot easier than the previous one because I'm physically closer. There we go. Valve is good at making games. And end of this section is movement-based. The next map is actually cycle-based, called Neurotoxin Sabotage, where we sabotage the neurotoxin. Valve is good at naming stuff. That's a heavily cycle-based map, so if you are consistent at least, you should get the same cycle. So you shouldn't gain or lose too much time in that one part of the map. That is the start of Cutscene City. Actually, Neurotoxin Sabotage, interesting enough, is the only map in the game where portals can be placed on moving surfaces. Valve thought it looked cool, so they left it in. There is actually a variable in-game, portals place on moving surfaces. Valve is good at naming stuff. That's literally the naming console. Moving portals, something like that. It sets to 1 when you load into this map, and sets to 0 when you load into the next map. Interesting bit of game knowledge there. Am I at the right cycle for that? Never mind. If you get there at the right cycle, you can shoot through that door, and never mind. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I got a bit of an iffy cycle, so I might actually end up losing time here. Unfortunate. I turn the lights back off because I don't really need them for this moment. Now we have Cutscene City. We have yeah, about 5.5 minutes of nothing. Fun.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, man.
I can read a donation so slowly that it takes the full 5 minutes 30.
What I could also do is recite the Animaniac song Nations of the World. From memory.
From memory.
I know that entire thing.
I'm actually quite impressed by that.
Oh god. I don't have chats open, but I'm assuming they're shouting yes.
It'll catch up for me in a moment, I'm sure. I will read out this dono though, in the
Okay, cool.
meantime.
Do that.
So we have $20. Thank you, Ian Keith, for $20. The comment says, "Who's better, Valve at making games, or the Portal 2 community at naming things?"
Ah, yes. Actually, we're good at naming things. Either they are incredibly bloody obvious, or they're named after food, because we had pancake shot. There's also waffle shot, because it's named after the player Waffle. There was also Frankenfootlong, and chocolate chip milkshake maneuver. We're good at naming stuff.
Wow. Completely unrelated, this is now my favorite speedrun.
Nice, because we have a thing called the chocolate chip milkshake maneuver. There we go. And that was all the gameplay you're going to see for the next 3 minutes.
Really didn't think you'd
Tetris!
In fact,
Oh boy.
I devised a much more elaborate
So this is a mod, right? This Tetris thing.
through this easy
Yes. Actually, I
You let yourself
did
get
talk about this
captured
previously,
easily
but I got
by
interrupted by
just
Wheatley,
dangled
or
a
myself,
turkey
or,
leg on
I don't
a
know,
rope
birds
from the
outside.
ceiling.
This is a plugin called Source Auto Record. Toilet. Source Auto Record, which was first used to record demos, which are gameplay files, so that you can send a file that's a few kilobytes instead of a video file which is multiple megabytes. It can also do 700,000 million other things. One of them is play Tetris because of reasons. Another one which I personally use on my streams, which I disabled for this stream, is have an input display, which is going to be, in my case, in the bottom right. You can see the buttons that I'm pressing. Also, one thing that it can do is dramatically decrease the loading times. I nearly said increase, but that's wrong. Because what you're supposed to see is a fade to black, then the Aperture Science logo, and then another fade to black. But that's slow, so some absolute wizards, I'm going to shout out some specific people in a moment, but if you play using real time, which is what the stream is, then that can save around, I think it's 4 minutes. Of course, that does depend on your PC, but on my specific hardware, it saves around 4 minutes of having the fast loads.
To initiate a core transfer, please deposit substitute core in
We also have a load of other executable files, so you can just exec one single file and then that's your speedrun set up. Automatically recording demos, name the demos a specific thing instead of just demo_3 or whatever,
Unless a stalemate associate
and just whatever other commands you prefer to have in there.
By the way, a
That
4-minute
is
time
the
save is
second
massive.
and final bit of gameplay in this map. We have another, like, minute-ish before we have to do something else.
Really hurts. Oh, I didn't think of that.
This map is called Core, because that's a core.
Are you just saying that, or is it
I'll
really
be good at naming stuff.
You're just saying that, aren't you?
The trick I'm going to set up for now is called Elevator Skip. 3 guesses as to why it's called that. And it is the single largest skip in the entire game. If you get it first try, this can save over 2 minutes. What is supposed to happen is this lift goes all the way up to the ceiling, and then plot twist, Wheatley is evil, and then it goes all the way back down. But we can stand on... Just look about there-ish. We can stand on top of the lift, and then manually hit a trigger at top of the ceiling. So, honestly saves 2 minutes. Need to wait for audio cue here.
Oh, right, yeah,
Yep.
the escape lift, I'll call it now. There we go, lift cool. Look, house, let me tell you, I knew
There
it
we
was
go.
gonna be cool to be in
And
the
me
house.
lagging out there is actually an indicator that I got it. Because the game is trying to load it's trying to continue this Wheatley speech, which I'm not listening to. Because it's Wheatley, why would you? He's British, imagine.
I don't even know what I
Um,
said, but I can find out.
It's trying to continue that, but also loading a separate thing. Also, I'm now stuck, I can't move. But that doesn't matter. I'm just gonna hold W and save 2 minutes.
I'm huge.
After this, we have another 57 seconds, I believe, of nothing.
Alright, well, 57 seconds will be perfect because we've got a couple of donations.
Lovely.
Are you ready now?
I like custom chapters. I have custom textures. Ignore me. Who's gonna get that joke, actually? Yeah, sure, you can go on.
Sure. We have $5 from Julester. Comment, I call this a charity donation because I, too, am good at naming stuff. Nice. That's going to be a hashtag pretty soon. And $5 from Mr. Jerky Jerky. Donation train for Cutscene City. Ooh, I like the sound of a $5 donation train. Choo choo.
Lovely. We have around a minute, so I'm just gonna play Tetris and be bad at it.
I mean, it looks like you're a lot better at Tetris than I am, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's not saying much.
It's... no, it's not saying much. I'll be
Sorry,
honest.
I had to. Oh,
No. You go ahead. I left that one wide open.
No, misdrops. Yeah, I should shout out specific people who made the entire plugin. The people who just developed the base plugin are NexZ, or NexZ, then Blenderized09, Mlug, KerzyHow, Nidboy, probably forgetting some people, as well as Rainbow Phoenix. Just those load of people helped develop this plugin, which is just godly. It's incredible. It's also
I'm
useful in
assuming. Go
it's
on.
also
Sorry.
useful in Portal 1, but there's a different version of it because it runs on a different version of the source engine. Same plugin, just actually fewer features. Now we actually have gameplay. Imagine. This map is called Underground because we are underground. Did I fire the right portal? Yes, I did. And now in the map Underground, we have a trick called Longshot. Because we do that. That skips having to walk, and I believe saves around 20 seconds. It's easier than you think. Especially with the Fulbright command I've on. It's easier than you think. Cool, wait for this door to open. We can actually place in that pole. We're going to skip that door right there. We can jump straight into the left side. Saving, I believe, around another 10, maximum 10 seconds. Because this is just a massive black texture. Boom, boom. Now, if you have played Portal 2 or know about it, then you may know the character Cave Johnson. We'll get to him a bit later, but this is the map where we're supposed to introduce him, where you're supposed to get introduced to him. Can I find that thing? You're supposed to get introduced to him, but that's slow, so I'm going to do a thing called Cliff Shot. Yeah. I'm going to look at my coordinates, stand there, and shoot there. That is more difficult than it looks. That is unreasonably precise. Where am I? I'm there. There we go. 1, 2. And now I'm going to go zoom. And now I'm going to go zoom. That is abusing a scripted momentum trigger. Because you're supposed to do a big fling from the top of that lift shaft all the way down. But the game has scripted momentums as a scripted momentum thing, which gives you a set velocity. So you can abuse that. I did a thing. Yeah, that was the 300 speed. Yeah, that was the 300 units per second speed cap, which I went over and just careened into the beans. Unfortunate, have to reload here, but it's not that big a deal. Especially on sloped surfaces, you can get a lot of speed. There we go. So that was the introduction section of Old Aperture. Now we have the repulsion gel, or the mobility gels. This one is a repulsion gel, it's the blue one, and it makes us go bouncy. There's also a propulsion gel, which is orange, and makes us go zoom. Actually, during the entire game, we're not going to use the orange gel. And yeah, the reason I'm calling it blue gel and orange gel is because that's what the speedrun community calls it, because that's blue. Now I'm going to do similar to the pancake shot I did previously. This is a seam shot, where I can just shoot through a wall because Valve is good at making games. Technically, it works in a different way, but it's essentially the same as look at a very, very, very specific angle, and then haha shall go zoom. No, seriously, it's weird. Boop boop. Second half of the chamber is intended, but just schmoovin', getting to the end. There is actually a dialogue I do have to wait for, but it's not the same kind as the previous ones. There we go. Because I can go in immediately, because that one catwalk is long enough of a gap for me to wait for the dialogue. I'm gonna do that 2 more times, I believe. This is a map I keep forgetting exists because you need to look to the right and shoot instead of just hold W.
All these science spheres are made of asbestos, by the way. Keeps out the
Boom.
rats.
We're going to do another portal stand into a fling. yeah, portal stand into a fling where we can just kind of do boop, and then we're there.
I like your style. You make up your own rules, just like me.
Oh, did I have that set? Clunk, clunk. Here we go. I fired the wrong portal.
Ramps are expensive.
That's actually another reason I use scroll wheel up for use, so I can just flick my mouse and do that.
We can track the
There we go.
neuronal activity in your brain.
I have it bound to both keys, actually. I have it bound to E and scroll wheel up.
Vitrify your frontal lobe.
Just personal preference, really.
Stop thinking about it. I'm serious. Visualizing the scenario while under stress actually triggers the reaction.
Some of these dialogues are really long. This map is called Crazy Box because of the second part of the map where we have a big cube, where we have a box covered in gel. Where it's supposed to go all bouncy, but I'll show why that's not going to be the case.
Let us know.
I'm part of Speaker Stand Gang, where I stand on a speaker, fire just far enough to shoot at the end of the map. There we go. That saves around a minute. What we're supposed to do is get blue gel, but what we can do is that. We can abuse the fact that our hitbox gets smaller when we crouch to do that. If I can get this fling relatively quickly. There we go. That's because when I crouch, my hitbox stays the same size, gets moved up a couple of pixels, there we go, and then gets smaller. Valve is good at making games. So our hitbox is colliding with the glass for just a couple of frames. Glass breaks. We can do that. And that was a momentum-based flinging, or just momentum-based fling that I did to get it to the end. Which is actually relatively simple if you practice it.
Congratulations.
Another map I keep forgetting exists because I need to look to the left and shoots, instead of just holding W. This map is called Potatoes because we are supposed to get a potato with GLaDOS inside of it because of story reasons I was ignoring by playing Tetris. This double fling that I'm going to do, because we flicked twice, haha, is actually so easy that it's possible to do in casual playthroughs.
Greetings, friend.
People have done this fling accidentally because it looks intended and it's so easy. So that's the map, and now a potato is going to magically materialize on the top of my gun. Hell yes!
The testing area is just up ahead. The quicker you get through, the quicker you'll get your 60.
That is exactly what you think it is.
Carolyn,
Bink.
compensation
There is gap. There's just a gap on the wall. Don't ask me why. Valve is good at making games. Bing. Oops. There we go. I can... That's a trick more useful in Portal 1 than Portal 2. Dialogue. There we go. That is called a Pika portal, because it's like Peekaboo, but with a portal. We can be in one portal, fire the other, so we can be standing in orange and fire blue. So then our hitbox is on one side of the portal, but our camera is at the other side. It's more useful in Portal 1, where you can really abuse that with heavy glitches. Now, in my splits, this map is called the Big Yeet, because... Yeah, that. No one actually has a name for that trick, it's just the thing you do in this map. That is because there's blue gel on the floor, which makes us bounce, and I'm going to scroll, which effectively is jumping, about 10 times. Because of reasons, I can go zoom. Boom. And after that, we have a section of the game called the Triple Kill. Because these are 3 maps right after each other, all of which can kill your run. And all of which are really long. Every single one is over a minute, which in terms of Portal is very long. You know the famous Cave Johnson Lemons rant? Well, ignore that, because we're not going to do that. I'm going to do a super reportal by gaining a ton of speed. Hopefully get it reasonably quick. First try counts as reasonably quick. Bink. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. First try counts as reasonably quick. Now, what you just saw there is me misplacing my blue portal because I want it to be close enough to me that I get the 200 speed boost, but not so close that it gets shoved out. Getting it first try is incredible, especially in a marathon, because that is the part 1 of the triple kill. The second half of this map is not particularly difficult, it's just movement and these portals. Small airstrafe to skip an angled panel right over there. We're going into part 2. We're going to do a trick called a stuck launch, because we get stuck and then we launch. And I didn't get that. Reload. Oh, never mind. Loaded the wrong save. Can I? There we go. We're going to get stuck, and then we're going to launch. It is actually not as difficult as you look. It's not as difficult as it seems. That strafe I just did was the most difficult part of the trick. Line up on this pipe, look at that wall, look at my coordinates. And to gain speed, and then zoom. The game thinks we are moving down, but we're actually not moving down, so the game keeps adding speed, even though we're stationary. Because there's blue gel on the floor, we can... Yeah, because there's blue gel on the floor, we can bounce up to the ceiling. And now it is vitally important to look at this poster on the wall. I'm dead serious. There's a line of dialogue that GLaDOS says where we need to look at that poster. So obviously I would change it to be that. Fire a portal on the floor at a very specific angle to do another super reportal. This one's a bit easier, because you have quite a bit of time to set it up. Hopefully I can get this one reasonably quick as well. Nope. No, I can't win them all. Nope. Where am I looking? There. There we go. Oh, I'm not getting it. No, I'm actually going to go for a backup. Instead of doing that super reportal, where am I supposed to go? I'm going to go for a tube bounce. I'm going to bounce on some tubes. Because I did say that the blue gel is bouncy, but also the tube that contains blue gel is also bouncy. Look there, look there. I don't do this. I haven't done this often because the super reportal is just faster. But this pipe contains blue gel, therefore the entire pipe is bouncy because Valve is good at making games. Oh, what did I do there? I cannot get up here. There we go. There we go. I need to get over an invisible wall, so that's why I had to reset just there. Part 2 done. That was actually a pretty good first half, terrible second half because I need to do a different trick. But the third map in the triple kill is called Test, because Wheatley is good at naming stuff. Wheatley is now in control of the facility, so from Chapter 8 onwards, we're going to see his test chambers. The first one being called Test.
For God's sake,
Once again, this is a movement-based map for most of it, so I'm just going to be bunny hopping and getting a pretty consistent time at least. Boom, boom, boom. And right now we have a trick called Cube Throw. Sky, can you guess why it's called Cube Throw?
I couldn't possibly. I don't think the name's enough to go off.
Yeah, it is a bit of an odd name.
You've got 1 hour. Solve it.
There we go. Nope, didn't get it. That one is a bit more difficult than you may imagine, because you need to aim at a specific spot. A bit more right. There we go, third try. Not bad. You need to aim at a specific spot, so what I do is go too far left a lot of the time. And because this is a marathon, I'm going to do a trick which is only used in individual levels, because again, it's complete RNG. Oh my god, I got it!
Nice.
Boom! That is complete RNG. I did not think I would get that. That is called Test Launch, because we're in Test, and we got a launch. It's similar to the stock launch that we got in the previous maps, but this is a panel moving up, so we actually gain speed going up. It's used in individual levels, and I believe it's as of this run, getting stuck is consistent, but gaining speed is completely random. I am so glad I got that to show it off. So that's gonna be a gold split by around 10 seconds. Wow, not expecting that. Let me just check. Oh yeah. Nice. Now we have my absolute favorite part of the game, Chapter 8, with CFG, short for Crouch Fly Glitch. It is a glitch that causes us to fly. So we have these funnels, and the game has a variable to check how many funnels we are currently in. If we crouch while inside one of those funnels, the variable is set to 2. And because 2 is a larger number than 0, we get a zero gravity state. So if we leave the funnel, our variable decreases from 2 to 1. And because 1 is a greater number than 0, we keep the zero gravity state. Meaning we can jump and just fly to the end. There we go. Now with this part of the game, you need to keep in mind the 300 unit speed cap, because if you have literally 0 friction, it is very easy to get that, to get stuck. So some people don't like this part of the game, some people do. Oh, nice gold. So crouch fly glitch, also known as funnel fly or just crouch fly, is very useful in this part of the game because you can just do this. Yeah. Game design. It's over there. Fire one there. Oh, I died. Yeah, that's because we have this wall which is moving, and Valve is good at making games. Because I went a bit too early. I got crushed by a moving invisible wall. Yeah, this game is certainly weird. Bing, bing. You're going to fire that there, and that there. And that solves the chamber. There we go. That's actually a very small dialogue skip where you can hold up against a door and let go of W for just about 1 second to save just about 2 seconds. It's very small, but you might as well go for it. Now we're going to lose funnel fly, because now we have a variable set to 1. So if you enter another funnel, the game realizes it, and we are now set to 0, so we can jump. Also, that chamber was solved in 10 seconds, because funnel fly is amazing. Here is a trick called Great Shot. Can you guess why? But also, it is occasionally called Portal Cut, because cut. That was a lot quicker than I expected it to be. Never mind. Bit of an awkward ending because. Damn it! There we go. Wait for dialogue, okay? There we go. Because we go so fast, because we shoot at that grate, we actually skip a dialogue trigger. So if we activate the button and then wait... Yeah, if we activate the button, then go into the door too soon, we can reactivate the dialogue. In this case, losing about 4 seconds, if I look to my splits. This map is called Stop the Box, because... Clunk. Never mind, I placed my portal wrong. I'm an idiot. So this map is called Stop the Box. That's because... You know, that. Fired my portal a bit too high. Unfortunate. It is actually possible to get that, to grab the cube in mid-air. But that is not something I'm going to do in a marathon because I'm not really too confident in it. So that is actually the intended solution. Hang on. Boom. That's actually the intended solution, because skill issue on my part. I just need to get more comfortable doing that. In individual levels I can crank it out because it's fairly simple. But in an hour-long game... Actually, we did reach the hour. There we go. We have another portal stand.
get a more sort of concentrated burst of science.
And now we can fire a portal in just the corner of that funnel, so that the player can go through, but the funnel can't. That is very precise portal placement, and can genuinely take quite a while to get. Oopsie. There we go. One thing I did not mention about funnel fly is we can not actually change our height. We cannot actually change our height during that, so we need to use geometry. We need to use level geometry to change that. That's why I'm bonking off a pipe to go down. That is a bit annoying. It's not actually too bad because there are conveniently placed angled panels. And because we now have funnel fly again, we can grab a cube while in midair and just kind of do this. We floating. This is my absolute favorite trick in the game. This is my absolute favorite trick in the game. Because we do that, and then it's solved. Nice. Now this is the reason we have funnel fly, is to skip that funnel, because that is really slow and we can go as fast as we want, because this is just a dead straight line. I need to be careful to avoid a kill trigger right here, which I did not do, because, yeah. It's an invisible kill trigger, so it's a bit annoying to hit. Hopefully I can get it reasonably quickly. Oh, I did get it. Landed at the wrong spot, though. Okay, third try, not bad. I did get it the second try, but I landed outside of this catwalk, so I couldn't actually get in. Invisible kill trigger, which is just annoying to get around, but not particularly difficult.
Great. Yeah, just getting a test
Oops.
ready.
There we go. This map is based off of Wheatley's dialogue, so we have all the time in the world to do this part. And then we're going to get Crouchfly again, and we are going to look at an Easter egg, actually. Because you need to look at this Easter egg. There we go. We need to look at Peabody right there, which is a robot in the co-op campaign, and that door will open. If you do this too fast, you can actually get over here with Peabody still waiting here, and the door's closed. That is the easiest soft lock to do in the entire game. Why would you want to do a soft lock? On purpose? I don't know. Valve was good at making games. Now this may seem like an awkward elevator, but it's actually not. Well, technically it is, but shut up. We could also, just at the outside of the door, activate the ending dialogue, but I am actually gaming so hard that doing this and waiting for the very end is around the same speed as actually activating for the dialogue and then waiting for that. So it's not that big a deal. Here we have Repulsion Polarity, which is the last map of Chapter 8, and the last time we are going to get Funnelfly. We're going to preserve this. Hang on. You're going to preserve Funnelfly into Chapter 9, get shot by the turret, love to see it. And then we can skip Wheatley's traps. On to Chapter 9, which is the end part of the game. Boom. So now Wheatley has some cunning traps, but because Wheatley has the IQ of a hard-boiled egg, we can skip those very easily.
Dying to know what your big surprise is.
Yeah, subtlety is not really his strong point. So because we have Crouch Flag Glitch, I'm going to turn the lights on. Because we have Crouch Flag Glitch, we're not going to stand on that faith plate, we are going to bonk head against the wall, and this may look like a solid wall, but we can go through. That wall does actually fall away, so it doesn't have any collisions, that's why I can go through that. But technically, that is not using no-clip. Actually, that's not using no-clip. Don't know why I said the word technically there. Then here, because we're going in a dead straight line, we can wall strafe by looking slightly away from the wall, holding A, and adjusting our mouse to now get nearly 500 speed. And just as a reference, the walking speed is 175. So very fast indeed. We go to bonk against these panels to lower ourselves just slightly. There we go.
Okay, look, I've decided I'm not going to kill you.
And
Okay, if you come back.
the start of Chapter 9. End of Finale 1, because all 4 maps in this chapter are called Finale something or other. Did I get that? That's a weird one. Okay. Just skipping a trigger quickly to avoid that mashy death spike. I'm not quite sure I got the right height because I'm standing on a railing. Ooh, I think I got a very weird height with that railing. It should be okay though. Anyway, we can just fly to the end and ignore this. Indeed, I shall, Wiggly. Oh, I bumped against an invisible wall. Never mind. The hitbox for that is a lot bigger than you may think. Boom. Going to the end. Then with Funnel Fly, we're supposed to look at those turrets. But we can actually bonk on this staircase to make ourselves go down. Then we're going to run like the clappers and get here in insufficient time. That is weirdly difficult to get used to, but it's actually fine once you practice it. Once again, we're going to ignore the big physics engine spectacle, and we're going to stand on a lamp, because I am part of the lamp standing gang. Clunk, I have now showed off lamp stand gang. Bing bing. That was final 2. Now we're going into final 3, which is the second to last map of the game. Again, completely broken with crouch fly. Oops. Some portal placements for instantaneous travel, because instantaneous is very fast. And fly to the end, because those bombs are slow. Oops, I maybe go down ever so slightly. No, I'm fine. So now we're just floating in midair. We could skip this Rube Goldberg machine with Death Trap, and never mind. I did get the wrong height. Okay. With Funnel Fly, we can fly to the very end, and we are going to lose it for the very last time. We're not going to go into that funnel right now, because that's slow. We're going to airstrife to the end, and then pop in it right there. Boom, boom. No more crouch fly, and this is Finale 4, which is the very last map of the game. Now, a thing that speedrunners have with this game is this map is essentially exactly 4 minutes. There's a few things you could do to speed it up, but it is always very close to 4 minutes. So now is the chat's time to guess what the ending time of the run is going to be. I will mention that the splits I have to my left are without loading times, using in-game time, but the thing that's on stream is using real time. That doesn't really matter, so this is one map of almost exactly 4 minutes. If we have some more donations, we can read those while Wheatley strokes his ego, and I play Tetris.
We can go right ahead and do that. You guys may have noticed in chat, Tuwaolo, sorry if I said your name wrong, gifted 5 subs there, and Wayfaring Fox with 10 subs. Guys, thank you so much. The money from those does go to the Organization for Autism Research, or it does go to the same cause. We also have a donation for $25 from Radicoon109. Comment, I'm too nervous, so I'm donating to my own bonus game. Yes, they are going to be running Tunic later if we hit that incentive. So guys, remember, if you do donate, you can apply that.
I was scared by the gameplay. Hang on, we still have nothing. There's an audio cue here. Shut up and kill me. There we go. Finally. With this very conveniently placed white gel, we can now place a portal there, because Wheatley is good at killing us. So, this is the final boss fight of the game, which is incredibly, incredibly easy, because Wheatley is Wheatley, let's say. There's an audio cue I can go by when he fires the bombs. To enter those portals as quickly as I can, and I missed, and I'm bad. There we go. I fell off of this top platform, so quickly reload save. Can I get up here? I can grab that core. I need to actually delay me pressing E. I need to delay me pressing E, because what I just did was go to the left and strafe down. What would normally happen is you go to the right and get shot out. That saves just a couple of seconds, and is actually very useful. Boop, boop. Another small dialogue cue here. Boom. This is the second core out of 3. Hey, got it on.
Core corruption
1, 2,
at
1, 2.
75%.
Core 3 is going to come up right above there-ish. I'm going to aim a portal right there so I can keep my momentum to get that core and then hack it on weakly in one go. And then time will be in about 2 minutes. Blip. Oh, come on. Not quite. I got the core, but it didn't get it in one motion. There we go. You're supposed to do that in one go. Unfortunate. So now the roof is going to collapse and it's going to rain, putting out those fires and also washing away this white gel. Now we can place portals on the floor, but without gel we can't. But we still can because Valve are good at making games. I need to aim at a very specific point. It's about here-ish. I need to aim at a specific point of the floor. I just mash click, and then that one. If I just keep mashing, then there's a portal on the floor. There we go. That's coming up in about 30 seconds. Yeah, roughly. Once I press this button... Oh no! Sabotage! What? How could I have seen this? Foreseen this? Words. Anyway, whatever. The ceiling is going to crumble down, and I'm going to shoot to the moon, and time is going to come up. Hey, look at that! It's me! Time. Portal 2. Now we're going to turn the volume down just a second. That is the end of the game. Now we're going to watch credits while, I don't know, Sky does his commentary-related nonsense.
Sure, that was an absolutely superb run. Wow, that was extremely action-packed. You've just done that in, from what I can see, just under 1 minute 15. Sorry, 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
I think that's how long it took me to do the first room.
You mean Container Ride? The 5-minute cutscene. Anyway, with the... Actually, you have 1 hour 15 in real time, and with the splits I have 1 hour 12. So that just shows the difference between in-game time and real time. Apart from that, I don't think there's anything else I really need to say. Obviously, shout out to the Portal 2 speedrun community. The current world record in-game time is 57 minutes 25 seconds by Angary Snack, because that man games. Hello Xenon again, I forget to turn that off. Again, some top-level runners. We have Burger40, Can't Even, M Sushi, Rattlery, or Rattle, not entirely sure how to pronounce his name. Unity. Those are actually, Unity is also an individual level runner. Just a load of individual level runners. We have Zach, Mlug, sure, I've just thought of that name. Portal Rex. Was it? Yeah, Unity, Bexy, or Bexy Bruh. Couple others which I may be forgetting at the moment, but yeah, a lot of awesome people who do... A lot of people which specialize in individual levels, and a lot of people which specialize in full game. I believe I'm done. Also, yeah, follow me on Twitch or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, exclamation mark runner, by the way, which, well, Moonblaze has already done it, so. But congratulations on the amazing run.
So,